Hey, it is Troy Stavros with CornerStone Realty Associates, and it is that time of the month for our monthly market update. We're going to look at all of the data through the end of February to see where we are in the East Tennessee housing market, in the Knoxville metro housing market, in the surrounding counties, and what all is happening so we can know the pulse of the market to make good decisions. All right, let's jump in and take a look, starting with East Tennessee. So, home sales in East Tennessee, when we compare February of 2025 to February of 2024, home sales are down 8.5%. Pending sales are up 1.4%. The inventory of homes is up 33.6%, so more inventory on the market for home buyers. New listings are up 2.1%. And the median sales price in East Tennessee is up 1.84% compared to a year ago, coming in at $360,000, with the average sold price per square foot coming in at $217 per square foot. The absorption rate ticked up just a hair, going to 3.59 months worth of inventory versus 3.58. So we're hovering right around 3.5 months worth of inventory. Let's jump in and take a look at some of the data for East Tennessee so we can see what is happening. Based on the data provided, here's a detailed housing market analysis for East Tennessee as a whole. As far as the inventory and the market supply, active listings have steadily increased over the past year, increasing to their highest levels. New listings remain stable, but pending and sold listings are lower, indicating slower transaction pace, so things are taking longer. The absorption rate increased. It increased quite a bit actually from a year ago, from 2.77 months worth of inventory to 3.59 months. That's a 29.6% increase year over year. So that suggests that homes are taking longer to sell, shifting the market towards a more balanced or buyer-friendly environment. So a key insight here would be that rising inventory and slower absorption indicates that buyers now have more options and sellers face more competition. As far as pricing trends, we can see that the list prices have remained stable while sale prices have actually increased. This suggests that buyers are still willing to pay competitive prices, but sellers are not aggressively raising listing prices due to increased competition. And the gap between the list and sales prices is narrowing, which is signaling a more balanced negotiation dynamic. As far as days on the market, the average days on the market has increased steadily now, exceeding 65 days. So homes are taking longer to sell than last year in East Tennessee as a whole, meaning that buyers have more time to negotiate and compare options. This trend suggests a cooling market, though demand remains strong enough to sustain gradual price increases. When we look at the sold to list price ratio, it has declined slightly but remains above 95% in most cases, so that tells us that buyers are negotiating more than before, but sellers are still achieving a relatively strong sales prices, and while the market is softening, it's not experiencing a price collapse. As far as the market volume, active list volume remains high, which indicates a strong inventory growth. Sold list volume and pending list volume have declined, which reinforces the observation that fewer homes are closing despite steady list prices. So the key insight there is that sellers face more difficulty closing deals, while buyers have greater flexibility in choosing properties. The market's becoming less competitive, favoring buyers who can negotiate stronger deals. As far as a summary, buyer's market is emerging. We're not in a buyer's market, but we're getting closer to one as things cool. Rising inventory and decreasing days on the market indicate there's a shift away from a seller's market in East Tennessee. Buyers have more power to negotiate, but prices remain relatively stable. Sellers must adjust expectations, so overpricing leads to longer market times, so pricing homes competitively is key. Well-priced homes still sell at strong values, but sellers must be realistic. There is a potential for a market shift. If inventory continues to rise, prices may face downward pressure in late 2025. However, demand remains strong enough to prevent a major downturn. For buyers, more inventory equals more choices, negotiation power is increasing, and sellers are more flexible on pricing and closing terms. So final verdict here is East Tennessee's housing market is transitioning towards a more balanced or buyer-friendly state. Sellers need to price competitively to attract buyers and avoid prolonged market times, and buyers have stronger negotiation power, but should still expect to pay close to asking prices in desirable areas. Remember, when we talk about all of this, everything is hyperlocal. It could say one thing about the overall market, but you could have a specific area or a specific subdivision or a specific property that defies all of these things and has multiple offers and sells for well above list price, just because real estate is hyperlocal and each property is different, as well as the desirability of it. But as an overall market, that is what is happening in East Tennessee as a whole. Now let's jump and narrow it down a little bit more to Knoxville specifically. So when we look at the Knoxville housing market, February 2025 compared to a year earlier, home sales are down 12.6%. Pending sales are down 2.7%. The inventory of homes is up 39.7%. New listings are up barely any at all, 0.2%. And the median sales price is up 5.42%. compared to a year ago, coming in at $408,500, with the average sold price per square foot coming in at $230 per square foot in Knoxville. The absorption rate decreased to 2.01 months worth of inventory versus 2.06, so we're right at 2 months worth of inventory. This is a low amount of inventory, where a healthy market is 4 to 6 months, so you can expect to see prices continue to stay stable to rising when you have this low of an amount of inventory. Let's take a look at the data for Knoxville. Okay, so inventory and market supply, the active listings have increased significantly over the last year, but have started to stabilize. New listings remain relatively steady, but pending and sold listings have declined, suggesting slower buyer demand. Absorption rate has risen from 1.55 months to 2.01 months. That's a 29.68% increase year over year. This indicates homes are taking longer to sell, but the market is still relatively fast moving compared to national trends. The key insight here is that while inventory has grown, it is not excessive by any means. The absorption rate increase suggests that there's a shift towards a more balanced market, though Knoxville remains relatively competitive. When we look at the pricing trends, list prices have slightly declined while sales prices have increased. This suggests that sellers may be pricing more competitively, leading to stronger closing prices. Buyers are paying closer to market value, showing that demand remains steady despite rising inventory. As far as the days on the market, the average days on the market increased steadily, now at 45 days. Homes are staying on the market longer than last year, meaning buyers have slightly more time to make decisions. However, the market is still relatively fast moving in Knoxville, and Knoxville remains an attractive housing market. The sold to list price ratio remains high. It's above 97%, which indicates that homes are generally selling close to asking prices. Buyers still need to make competitive offers, as sellers are not making drastic concessions. While negotiation power has slightly increased for buyers, Knoxville remains a relatively strong market for sellers. And you can see the difference between the overall East Tennessee market that we were talking about previously to the Knoxville market. There's a difference here. It's a little bit looser out in all of East Tennessee, but as we narrow it down into Knoxville, it becomes a stronger market for sellers. When we look at the market volume, the active list volume is high, but sold list volume remains stable. New listing volume and pending listing volume have declined, so this suggests slower transaction activity overall. There are less homes selling, which we know from what we saw earlier here that home sales are down 12.6%. So the key insight for there is that fewer deals are closing, even though prices remain strong. This suggests some buyer hesitation, likely due to affordability concerns, mortgage rates, or economic uncertainty, probably all of those things. When we look at a market summary, a balanced market is emerging. While inventory is rising, Knoxville is not yet a full buyer's market. It still remains strong for sellers. Absorption rates remain relatively low compared to national average, which means homes are still selling in a reasonable time frame. But sellers must price strategically. Overpricing leads to longer days on the market, even though sellers are still getting strong final sales prices. Pricing competitively from the start can lead to faster sales and better negotiation outcomes. There is, again, a potential for a cooling market. If inventory continues rising and demand slows, Knoxville could shift more towards a buyer-friendly market late in 2025. However, current trends show steady demand, meaning a major market downturn is unlikely. For buyers, more inventory equals more choices. Buying power has slightly increased, but homes are still selling near asking prices, and interest rates and affordability remain key factors to watch. The final verdict for the Knoxville market is Knoxville's housing market is shifting towards a more balanced state, but remains competitive. Sellers should price competitively to avoid extended market times, and buyers have slightly more negotiating power, but should still act decisively in desirable areas. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at what is happening in the surrounding counties. So, when we look here, comparing February of 2025 to last year, let's look at Roane County first. So in Roane County, available inventory is up 32.8%. Pending sales are up 4.3%. And the median sales price in Roane County is up 6.46%, coming in at $338,000, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $179 per square foot. Let's take a look at the data in Roane County. So, in Roane County, active listings have been steadily increasing, reaching their highest levels in February of 2025. New listings remain relatively stable, but pending and sold listings are lower, indicating a slower sales pace. Absorption rate has increased from 2.18 months to 2.9 months. That's a 33.49% increase. This suggests that homes are taking longer to sell, transitioning the market towards a more balanced or buyer-friendly environment. The increase in supply is outpacing demand, which is granting buyers more choices and negotiation power. List prices have increased, but median prices have slightly declined, suggesting some sellers are adjusting expectations. Sales prices are rising faster than list prices, indicating that well-priced homes in Roane County are selling at strong values, and this trend suggests that buyers are still active and willing to pay for desirable properties, despite increasing inventory. As far as days on the market, homes are taking significantly longer to sell, reinforcing the shift towards a more buyer-friendly market, but pricing competitively from the start is crucial for sellers to avoid prolonged listing times. The sale-to-list price ratio remains above 93%, but has shown volatility. Buyers are negotiating more aggressively in Roane County, leading to larger price reductions before closing. Sellers need to be strategic with pricing to avoid excessive discounts or extended time on the market. As far as market volume, more homes are entering the market, but fewer are selling quickly, indicating weaker buyer urgency. The increase in inventory without a proportional rise in sales suggests that price adjustments may be necessary to attract buyers in Roane County. As far as the market summary, the market is moving towards balance and a slight buyer's advantage. While prices are still rising, longer selling times and increasing inventory suggest buyers have more leverage. Sellers should price competitively to attract buyers faster. Sellers must adjust their expectations. Overpricing will lead to longer days on the market, which can result in price reductions later. Accurate pricing and strong marketing are key to selling successfully in a shifting market. There is potential for cooling in late 2025. Again, if inventory continues rising and demand slows down, prices could stabilize or slightly decline. However, demand for well-priced homes remains strong, which will prevent a downturn. For buyers, more inventory, again, equals more choices and negotiation power. Longer days on the market allows for better deal-making opportunities, and sellers are more flexible on pricing and closing terms. Roane County's housing market is shifting towards a more balanced state with increasing inventory and longer selling times. Sellers must price competitively to avoid prolonged market times. Buyers have stronger negotiation power, but should still expect to pay close to asking price for well-priced homes. All right, let's take a look at Knox County. Knox County available inventory is up 39.8% compared to a year ago. Pending sales are down 4.9%, and the median sales price in Knox County is up 4.9%, coming in at $400,600, with the median sold price per square foot of homes in Knox County coming in at $228 per square foot. Let's take a look at the data for Knox County. Okay, inventory and market supply. Active listings have steadily increased over the past year, reaching their highest levels in Knox County. New listings remain stable, but pending and sold listings have slightly declined, indicating a slowdown in buyer activity. The absorption rate has risen from 1.56 months to 2.03 months. That's a 30.13% increase over the year. This suggests that homes are taking longer to sell, shifting the market towards a more balanced state, but still somewhat favoring sellers. The key insight here is that the increase in inventory means buyers have more options and sellers face more competition. As far as pricing trends, list prices have slightly declined, but sales prices have increased. This suggests that sellers are adjusting expectations and pricing more competitively, leading to stronger closing prices. Buyers are still willing to pay near asking prices, but they have more negotiation power than before. As far as the days on the market, homes are taking longer to sell than last year, meaning buyers have slightly more time to make decisions. However, the market is still moving at a reasonable pace, particularly for competitively priced homes. The sale to list price ratio remains above 96%, but has declined slightly. So buyers are negotiating more than before, though sellers are still achieving relatively strong sales prices. A well-priced home is still likely to sell close to asking price, but overpricing can lead to longer market times. As far as the market volume, more homes are entering the market and fewer are selling quickly, which indicates slower buyer urgency. The increase in inventory without a proportional rise in sales suggests that pricing adjustments may be necessary to attract buyers. In summary, the market is moving towards a more balanced, slight buyer's advantage. While prices are still rising, longer selling times and increasing inventory suggest that buyers have more leverage than before. Sellers should price competitively to attract buyers faster. Overpricing will lead to longer days on the market, which can result in price reductions later. Accurate pricing and strong marketing are key to selling successfully in a shifting market. Again, there is a potential for cooling in late 2025, and that's if inventory continues rising and buyer demand remains steady but not aggressive. Prices could stabilize or decline slightly later in the year. However, demand for well-priced homes remains strong, preventing a downturn. For buyers, again, more inventory equals more choices and negotiation power. Longer days on the market allows for better deal-making opportunities. As far as the final verdict, Knox County's housing market is shifting towards a more balanced state. With increasing inventory and longer selling times, sellers must price competitively to avoid prolonged market times. Buyers have stronger negotiation power, but should still expect to pay close to asking price for well-priced homes. Let's take a look at Anderson County. Anderson County, available inventory is up 34.3%. Pending sales are up 8%. The median sales price in Anderson County is up 8.3%, coming in at $324,900, with the median sold price per square foot in Anderson County coming in at $180 per square foot. Let's take a look at the Anderson County data. Active listings have remained relatively stable over the past year, but have recently slightly declined. New listings have followed a similar trend, while pending and sold listings have decreased, indicating a slowdown in buyer activity. Absorption rate has increased from 1.87 months to 2.47 months. That's a 32.09% increase year over year. This suggests that homes are taking longer to sell, shifting the market towards a more balanced environment, but still slightly favoring sellers. Inventory levels are not increasing significantly, but demand is weakening, giving buyers more negotiation power. List prices have dropped significantly, suggesting that sellers are adjusting expectations due to rising inventory and longer selling times. Sales prices, however, have increased, meaning well-priced homes are still selling for strong values. Buyers are becoming more selective, but demand remains strong for competitively priced homes. As far as days on the market, homes are taking much longer to sell than last year, reinforcing the shift towards a more buyer-friendly market. The sale-to-list price ratio remains above 95%, but has declined slightly, so buyers are negotiating more than before, but sellers are still achieving relatively strong sales prices. Even in a cooling market, well-priced homes are selling close to asking price in Anderson County. As far as market volume, active listing volume remains high while sold list volume has declined, so that tells us more homes are entering the market, but fewer are selling quickly, indicating weaker buyer urgency. The increase in inventory without a proportional rise in sales suggests that pricing adjustments may be necessary to attract buyers. In summary, the market's moving towards a more balanced, slightly buyer's advantage. While prices are still rising, longer selling times and increasing inventory suggest buyers have more leverage. Sellers should price competitively to attract buyers faster and may need to adjust their expectations. Overpricing can lead to longer days on the market, which will result in price reductions later. Accurate pricing and strong marketing are key to successful selling in a shifting market. Again, possible potential for cooling if inventory continues rising and demand weakens. However, demand for well-priced homes now remains strong, so we do not expect a downturn. For buyers, more inventory equals more choices and negotiation power. Longer days on the market means better deal-making opportunities. Sellers are more flexible right now on pricing and closing terms. So as far as the final verdict on Anderson County, the housing market there is shifting towards a more balanced state with increasing inventory and longer selling times. Sellers must price competitively to avoid prolonged market times, and buyers have stronger negotiation power but should still expect to pay close to asking price for well-priced homes. All right, let's jump over and take a look at Loudon County. All right, in Loudon County, available inventory is up 68.1%. Pending sales are up 15.9%, and the median sales price is down 8.33%, coming in at $417,000, with the median sold price per square foot in Loudon County coming in at $228 per square foot. Let's take a look at the data. Okay, as far as the inventory and market supply in Loudon County, active listings have steadily increased, reaching their highest levels over the past year. New listings remain relatively stable, but pending and sold listings have declined, indicating slower buyer demand. The absorption rate has surged from 2.4 months worth of inventory to 3.81 months worth of inventory. That's a 58.09% increase year over year. This means that homes are taking significantly longer to sell, and it marks a shift towards a more buyer-friendly market in Loudon County. Rising inventory and a higher absorption rate suggest buyers have more choices and stronger negotiation power than at any time in the previous years. As far as pricing, list prices have slightly decreased and sales prices have followed the downward trend as well. The decline in median sales price, down 8.33%, suggests that buyers are negotiating more aggressively, forcing sellers to accept lower offers. Sellers must price competitively to attract buyers and avoid prolonged market times. As far as days on the market, homes are taking longer to sell, reflecting a cooling market. Well-priced homes still move quickly, as seen in the slight drop in the median days on the market. Median days in the market is now at 35 days, while the average days in the market is at 59 days. So well-priced homes still move quickly. The sold list price ratio remains above 95%, but has been trending downward. Buyers are negotiating more aggressively than before, resulting in a lower final sales price compared to initial list prices. Sellers who price right from the start are more likely to close deals near their asking price than those who price too aggressively. Market volume. The active list volume has increased while sold list volume has slightly declined. So more homes are entering the market, but fewer are selling quickly, reinforcing buyer hesitation. Sellers need to adjust their expectations and potentially offer incentives to attract buyers. As far as a summary on the Loudon County market, it is definitely a transition towards a buyer's market. Inventory is rising and buyers have more choices. Homes are taking longer to sell and sales prices are softening. Sellers must adjust their pricing strategies. Overpricing leads to longer times on the market, forcing sellers to accept lower offers later. Accurate pricing and competitive offers will be key to securing buyers in Loudon County. There is potential for cooling in 2025. Again, if inventory continues to rise and demand weakens, prices may experience slight downward pressure. However, Loudon County remains desirable, preventing a sharp price drop. For buyers, more inventory equals more choices, negotiation power is increasing, and sellers are being more flexible on pricing and closing terms. Final verdict, Loudon County's housing market is shifting towards a more buyer-friendly environment with rising inventory and longer selling times. Sellers must price competitively and be prepared for negotiations. Buyers have stronger bargaining power, but should still act strategically to secure desirable properties. And one additional thing about Loudon County, again, like we were saying, hyper-local. One area in Loudon County could be witnessing a downturn as far as demand and prices, but there could be another area that is doing the opposite. For example, you have Tellico Village in Loudon County, which sells a lot of homes. There is a lot of inventory right now, of new construction inventory in Tellico Village, so there is far more supply than there is demand right now, so that could tend towards some downturn in prices in Tellico if demand does not pick up soon. Okay, so something to keep an eye on. Remember, hyperlocal, if you have a specific area that you're having questions about, subdivision, house, let me know so we can dial it into the hyperlocal to make sure that you understand what's happening for the specific situation that you're in. Okay, let's jump over. Sevier County. Sevier County available inventory is up 20%. Pending sales are down 12.5%. And the median sales price in Sevier County is down 3.16%, coming in at $540,000, with the median sold price per square foot in Sevier County coming in at $261 per square foot. Let's look at the data in Sevier County. Active listings have remained at their highest levels, indicating a surplus of available homes. New listings have remained relatively stable, but pending and sold listings have declined, signaling lower buyer demand. The absorption rate in Sevier County has increased from 6.58 months to 8.75 months. That's a 32.98% increase year over year. This means it would take almost 9 months to sell the current inventory, marking a strong shift towards a buyer's market in Sevier County. High inventory and slower sales suggest that buyers have substantial leverage in negotiations. As far as pricing, list prices have declined, especially at the median level, suggesting sellers are adjusting to market conditions. Median sales prices are down significantly, down 7.69%, which shows that buyers are negotiating aggressively in Sevier County. Average sale prices remain stable, meaning that luxury or higher-end homes may still be selling at solid values. As far as the days on the market, the average days has increased to 86 days. The median days on the market has increased to 56 days. So homes are taking longer to sell, reinforcing a slower moving market. Sellers must be patient or price competitively to avoid prolonged market times. The sale to list price ratio remains below 95%, showing a trend of declining sales prices relative to list prices. So buyers are successfully negotiating lower prices, forcing sellers to make concessions in Sevier County. Sellers who price correctly from the start are more likely to close deals faster. More homes are on the market now, but fewer are selling quickly, which reinforces a slowdown in demand. Sellers need to be strategic with pricing and possibly offer incentives to attract buyers. As far as a market summary and forecast, Sevier County is firmly in a buyer's market. With an absorption rate of 8.75 months, buyers have significant negotiating power. Higher inventory and longer selling times favor patient buyers. Sellers must be realistic with pricing. Overpricing leads to prolonged market times and price reductions later. Setting a competitive price up front is crucial to attracting serious buyers. There is potential for further market softening in 25. Again, if inventory continues rising and buyer demand remains low, prices may face additional downward pressure. However, well-priced, desirable properties will sell at strong values. For buyers, more inventory equals more choices and negotiation power. We've said that over and over again. Longer days in the market means better deal-making opportunities, and sellers are more flexible on pricing and closing terms. Final verdict for Sevier County: their housing market is now in a solid buyer's market with rising inventory, longer selling times, and weakening prices. Sellers must price aggressively and be prepared to negotiate. Buyers have excellent opportunities for price negotiations and favorable terms. All right, let's jump over and look at Blount County, our last county on the list here. Blount County available inventory is up 36.4%. Pending sales are up 34%. And the median sales price in Blount County is up 3.68%, coming in at $380,000, with the median sold price per square foot in Blount County coming in at $235 per square foot. Okay, let's take a look at the data for Blount County. Active listings have steadily increased, indicating higher inventory levels. New listings remain stable, while pending and sold listings have slightly declined, suggesting a slowdown in buyer activity. The absorption rate has risen from 2.37 months to 2.84 months. That's a 19.83% increase year over year, suggesting that homes are taking longer to sell, shifting the market towards a more balanced environment. Buyers now have more choices, and sellers face increased competition. As far as pricing trends, list prices have declined, suggesting that sellers are adjusting expectations due to increased inventory and longer selling times. Sales prices have increased significantly, up 11.95%, meaning that buyers are still willing to pay for well-priced homes, and sellers who price competitively are achieving strong closing prices. As far as days on the market, homes are taking longer to sell, showing a more patient market. sellers must price competitively to attract buyers quickly. The sold-to-list price ratio remains above 95%, though it has been trending downward. Buyers are negotiating more aggressively, forcing sellers to accept slightly lower offers. Correct pricing from the start is critical to avoid excessive price reductions. More homes are coming onto the market, but fewer are selling quickly, which indicates softer demand. Sellers need to be strategic with pricing and possibly offer incentives to attract buyers. As far as the summary and forecast, while prices are still rising, longer selling times and increasing inventory suggest buyers have more leverage. Sellers should price competitively to attract buyers faster. Sellers need to adjust their expectations. Overpricing can lead to longer days on the market, which can result in price reductions later. Accurate pricing and strong marketing are key to selling successfully in a shifting market. Again, there is potential for cooling in late 2025 if the inventory continues rising and buyer demand remains steady but not aggressive. Prices could stabilize or decline slightly. However, demand for well-priced homes remains strong, which will prevent any downturn. For buyers, again, broken record, more inventory equals more choices and negotiation power. Longer days on the market allows for better deal-making opportunities, and sellers are being more flexible on pricing and closing terms. The final verdict on Blount County is the housing market there is shifting towards a more balanced state. With increasing inventory and longer selling times, sellers must price competitively to avoid prolonged market times, and buyers have stronger negotiation power but should still expect to pay close to asking price for well-priced homes. Okay, that was a lot of information, but hopefully if you're in any of those counties, that helps you specifically know what's happening in your county, what's happening in Knoxville, and what's happening specifically in East Tennessee as a whole. You get a pretty good idea. There was a lot of the same thing said as far as demand is weakening. So we have weaker demand. It seems like prices are moderating while they're still going up in some areas, some more than others. Overall, it is definitely cooling a little bit, and there's definitely less demand. And that's the reason that it's cooling. When we look at supply and demand, supply is increasing, demand is decreasing. So that means that things are going to moderate as far as prices go. Again, remember, hyperlocal is important. And what are some of the reasons why demand is decreasing? We know interest rates have remained high for quite a long time. We have some economic uncertainty now with tariffs and different things happening with the new administration. Until those things shake out and get where they need to be and everybody feels comfortable with them, any kind of uncertainty always will press pause on people's big decisions. So that could be a reason why we're seeing less demand in the housing market as well. And affordability is still really tough for a lot of buyers out there. A lot of people just can't afford to buy a home right now because they are still very expensive and they will remain expensive. So what we really need to do is see those interest rates come down. And I think that will open up the opportunity for more people to be able to enter the market. Let's take a look at a couple other things of interest here, just so we can see what has happened over time. When we look at this here, we can see this is showing us where Americans moved in 2024. So this is talking about the domestic migration patterns. And this is looking from county to county. But you can see here in Knox County how we had a huge bump in the migration patterns in 2021 and 2022. And then it started coming back down. And in 2024, we're pretty much where we were pre-pandemic. In 2019, we were at 5.6. So this is saying 5.6 people migrated to Knox County for every 1,000 people in the county. So that was what was happening in 2019. Then in 2020, obviously we had the pandemic, so everything slowed down. But in 2021, we saw a big jump, 11.9 people for every 1,000 entered into Knox County. Then in 2022, 18 people for every 1,000 entered into Knox County. And then it started decreasing. 2023 was 8 people for every 1,000. And then 2024, we were back to where we were pre-pandemic, 5.6. I could see this going right back up again if interest rates come down and it loosens things up nationwide for people to be able to move and buy elsewhere and sell their properties. We could see more people coming to East Tennessee. When we look around at the different counties, so you can see that some of the other counties are still seeing a big influx. In Loudon County in 2024, 27.3 new people for every 1,000 people in the county. So those numbers in Loudon County have remained strong. You could see where in 2021, in the midst, right after the pandemic, it got up to 34.4, then 28.2 in 2022, and then 39.9 in 2023. So that's a lot of migration into Loudon County. 39 in 2023, 39.9 new people migrating into the county for every 1,000 people in the county. That's pretty significant. Roane County still remains elevated. You can see there, 2024 was at 15.7, but at the height, it got up to 26.4. Anderson County is still elevated, 15.7 in 2024. At its height, it got up to 21. But you can see the opposite is happening in Sevier County. Now, in 2024, you saw more people leaving Sevier County in 2024 than coming in, which is telling us why the market there is definitely in a buyer's market now, because more people are leaving than coming in. Less demand equals buyer's market equals prices dropping. And then Blount County, they're still elevated as well. Other thing we can look at here, so this is the 1-year change in home prices between February of 2024 and February of 2025. And you can see that we saw a 2.7% increase in Knox County, but the 5-year increase in the prices in Knox County, 80.7% increase in the prices in Knox County over the last 5 years. That is a big jump. When we look at some of the other surrounding counties, Loudon County saw a 2.9% increase last year and saw a 63.8% increase over the last 5 years. Roane County was up 3.6 over the last year. Blount County was up 4.9%. Let's see, Anderson County was up 6.6% last year. So we're still seeing good price appreciation in East Tennessee, where in a lot of other parts of the country, even if I zoom out here, you can see a lot of these other parts of the country aren't seeing as good of appreciation in values every year that we are here. So things are still looking positive here in East Tennessee as far as that goes. When we look at this is talking about net migration, but it's looking at the Knoxville metro as a whole. When we zoom in here to Tennessee, we can see that as far as the net migration, we still saw 9,661 people migrate, net migration. So when it talks about net migration, it's talking about how many people came in versus how many people left. So even if a bunch of people left, we still had a total net of 9,661 people come into the Knoxville metro area in 2024. And you can see how that is getting back to where it was pre-pandemic in 2019 and 2018. We were averaging a little over 7,000 people net migration into Knoxville. So we're still a little bit elevated in 2024, but not where we were in 2021, 2022, and 2023. At the height in 2022, we had 18,154 net people, net migration into Knoxville. We saw a lot of people come into this area, which is the reason we saw home prices do what they did. Again, supply and demand. Demand went way up and supply was down, thus huge increases in prices. And then when we look here on this, we can see the change in metro level home prices. And just talking about those net migration years, if we just look here, we can see what happened to home prices over those periods of time as all that net migration happened. We saw a 3.1% increase in home prices last year. Over the last 2 years, it was 13.6%. Over the last 3 years, 22.7%. Over the last 5 years, the Knoxville metro area, 73.2% increase in prices. The last thing let's talk about is interest rates. Where are they today? Today, March 18th, they are at 6.78% for a 30-year loan. Still relatively high compared to obviously where they were a few years ago. I think if we can get down below 6.5 and get closer to 6%, we're going to see a lot of demand open up and we'll see more people come into the market. But you can see we're almost pretty close to the low of where we've been for the entire 2025. So that's good. We're getting closer, but we really need these interest rates to come down further to allow more people to enter into the market and be able to afford a home. Okay, that was a lot of information. If you have any questions about your specific home or a specific area that you're looking, or maybe you want to know about what's happening for your subdivision or your zip code, just reach out. Let me know. I'm happy to do the research for you. I'll let you know what that looks like. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in East Tennessee, reach out to me. I would love to help you. If you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the country, let me know, because if I can't help you, I have an amazing network of incredible agents across the country that I would be happy to introduce you to make sure you get somebody that can take great care of you. I hope you're having a great day. This is Troy Stavros with CornerStone Realty Associates here in Knoxville. Have a blessed day.